Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is Sue Ellis-Saller at Spiritual Business Spotlight, and I am happy to have Soul Space with Megan Heldens, coming on today. Welcome, Meg.
Hi, nice to be here and being everyone's energy in live and in the replay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, should I call you Meg or Megan?
Either is fine. People call me both.
Okay, that's like for me and Sue and Susan. It's just like I answer to both, whatever you're most comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. And you have a very rich background with trance channel mediumship, Reiki, angel fire or holy fire Reiki. You're a Reiki master. You're a energy healer and sound healer.
Yes.
Is that correct? So,
yes.
Okay. Anything else that I'm missing?
I'm taking a really amazing angel course now with Kyle Gray online that I really enjoy. So I'm getting more into the angel energy. But yeah, I kind of go wherever the wind blows, wherever spirit takes me.
I know that feeling. So, and it's such a wide and diverse topic. You know, once you start opening your gifts and working with them, then you realize that you can use them within different modalities. So it almost becomes like this smorgasbord of opportunities.
Yeah. I've been a professional spiritual advisor for a little over a year now, and I started studying a few years ago. I would say 5 years ago. I had a series of miscarriages, and it really, threw me down a dark hole. And I've always been spiritual. I've always, since a young child, been able to see angels, spirits, all kinds of things. And I kind of pushed it away. And then I moved to the Netherlands to be with my husband in 2011. And I really started doing deep spiritual work, deep spiritual study. I found some great mentors, Rachel Chamness, Heather Corbett, and it made some really great community friends. And it's just sort of kind of grown from there. So that's just a little bit about me.
Sorry, I tried to mute my mic. So that sounds wonderful. Like you've had a really wide variety of mentors, and that you're learning a lot of modalities from but I'm sorry that it had to start so traumatically for you, it seems like.
Yeah, it was I was on my third miscarriage, and I just remember laying on the ground being like, okay, I'm ready to die now. And I remember looking up, and there was this being over me, and he said, no, you're not. Pull yourself together. We've got you. And it's now time to start doing this spiritual work. And I really thought I was having like a nervous breakdown. But when I came to the next day, the beings were still there. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to go with this flow. And I'm going to try to live as normal a life as possible. And I've learned a lot about boundaries. So they know when I'm working, and they know when to leave me alone so I can live a normal life. So, yeah.
See, that's good, because I think for a lot of mediums, especially, there's this space where they have to create these boundaries because they're getting, messages and spirits coming through to them all the time, like knock, 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 knock. So it's good that you were able to create some boundaries, and that they helped you and supported you and kind of said, we've got work for you to do. Let's move forward. And did that help you with the grieving process then?
It definitely did. And I did get professional help. So I'm someone that totally believes that, it's a fine line. Go the holistic route, go the spiritual route. But also if you need help and you need therapy for grief counseling and you need a doctor, go do it. So I've sort of have one foot firmly in both worlds. I guess that's my grounded Taurus energy. I'm very down to earth.
I love that, though. It's really it's necessary with all spirituality, and I think a lot of us are realizing that right now, that we do need this grounded, back in the body, feeling what we're feeling, and also that connected, inspired, spiritual place to be in.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I've learned over the years that it's absolutely okay to say, I resonate with this, I agree with this, or to say, no, I don't really agree with that, but I wish you all the best in your future journeys. Like, it's okay to disagree and not argue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so important too. As in the space we're in right now, it can be a little bit, divisive.
Mhm.
And we all have our own unique spiritual journeys that we're on, and each one of us is at our own place in that time. And so the experience is completely different for everybody as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think that I want to make it really clear that I was given the choice. I could have said no and walked away from this completely, but I'm always just so intrigued by the idea of spirit. And, like I've said, I mean, I remember being 2 or 3 and seeing spirits and seeing angels, and I learned at a very young age to zip my lips really quick about it, because if you talk about it, people think you're really weird.
Well, luckily,
Yeah.
there's more people in the community now who like totally understand that, and they're like, yeah, I talk to trees and I talk to whatever
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
energies are coming through. But
So for
yeah,
me, yeah, for me, it's kind of an undoing. I'm coming back to that energy of magic that I believed in as a child, and it's been a really interesting journey.
oh, that's cool. So you did have a split where you kind of had to get into the real world, quote unquote, and you were, kind of let the magical side of things
Yeah,
alone for a while.
it was really odd. Like, I've always known things that I can't explain exist, but I knew that if I talked about it, I would be labeled evil or crazy by people that were my quote unquote family. And so you just learn very quickly as a young child how to survive, how to go along to get along. And luckily, we live in a time where families and communities are more open to that. My family that I have married into, they had a couple questions. They were like, okay, so you believe in God, you believe in angels, all of your work is for good, you don't harm anyone. And I say, yes, that's absolutely right. Like what's this Reiki thing, this holy fire Reiki thing? And I explained it to them, and that it's a modality to promote self-healing. And they were like, oh, that's really cool. And then that was really the only conversation we ever had about it. And it was like, okay, well, if you're not bad, you're not evil, we're cool with it. And that was the conversation.
Oh, that's so good then. So they
Yeah.
were, and I think that opening those doors and communicating and really explaining, like, I believe in kindness and love, and I believe in the angels, and I believe in God, and I'm not going to try and, take over your mind and put spells on you. And so sharing that, communicating about it, and being really open and honest and forthright about the experience and what you believe helps people understand the work a little bit better and be open to it.
Yeah, that's why I tend to call myself a spiritual advisor, because people reach out to me, they tell me what their problem is, and I try to be as honest as I can about, can I help you? So I've got many different things. I do a monthly spirit circle where people send me photos or show me photos of a loved one that they would like to connect with. And I try to give messages that are non-triggering and healing. And so I do that once a month, because if I didn't give a date and a time, I would have spirits all the time bothering me. And I go, nope. If you want me to help you, you have to get your loved one to the spirit circle at this date and this time. And I have angel sessions where we can specifically talk to your guardian angel and help give you a life path advice. I have channeled messages along with crystals, because I'm a complete crystal nut. I love crystals that I ship around the world. What else do I do? Reiki, of course, because Reiki is my one true love. So I have mostly online Reiki sessions. A few people here in the Netherlands come to see me in person, but 99% of my work is online via videos that people can pay for. Tell me what you want. I make you an individualized meditation or session or Reiki session, and they can listen to it several times, and then hopefully come back for more help in a few months or weeks even, and it's great.
No, I love that too, because you said I actually am honest with people about whether or not I can help them right
Yeah.
at the beginning, you know, and I think that's really important, especially for the integrity of people in our community, shall we say, you
Mhm.
know, that it is a thing about, okay, this is something that I can help you with. Or like you said, sometimes they need support from energetic healers and messages from their spirit guides, but they also need a little bit of help, like you mentioned earlier, by going to a regular talk therapist or a regular conventional therapist. And so that's good that you kind of help them in the energetic way, but you're actually really honest about, yes, this is work that we can do together. This is how I can help you. And then, yeah, moving on from there.
Yeah. I'm very honest that I am not a doctor. I am a energetic healer that helps promote emotional healing. So I don't cure cancer, but do you have some anxiety? Do you have some fears? Can I send you some Reiki to help you with that? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful. And I know a little bit of your work, so I'm just going to go there right now
Sure.
and say you get some really interesting visitors in the spirit world sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, and I am careful about who I say, because there are people that still have families on this earth, and I never want to exploit who I get messages from. So what I do is, if I receive messages from these quote unquote famous people, I never charge money for it. I will take the message onto my blog or onto a free public group like Multidimensional Living that my friend Gia runs, and I will give the message with love. And if that gets me a customer, a client that would like help, and maybe I never know who's going to show up in a session. I've had, for example, I've had David Bowie pop in. I've had Kurt Cobain pop in, and I have to admit, I was a complete grunge rock nut as a teenager in the 90s, but never in a million years would I think that these spirits would come to visit me. And so they do sometimes, but with my boundaries, I have a waiting room, for lack of a better word. And so before I do a session, I'll kind of go onto the astral plane, I'll go into meditation, and I'll be like, oh, who's here? And I've had Amy Winehouse pop in, and of course, I can't say of course, I don't know why he showed up, but Michael Hutchins from INXS. And I know it makes me sound absolutely insane, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So I just laugh.
And why not, though? I mean, these
Yeah.
people had huge voices and presence
Mm-hmm.
in our, in the 3D. And so why wouldn't they continue to have a presence, or, with that expanded consciousness kind of insight to share,
Yeah. The way that it's,
coupled with,
oh, sorry, keep going. Sorry.
no, because but just kind of how they're so well known, like their personalities were so well known in this realm, and so to combine that with like an expanded sort of insight.
Yeah, and the thing is that some of them had a lot to say in life, and so the way it's been explained to me is that doesn't really change in death. So anyone that's willing to talk to them, they will sort of knock for lack of a better word. I don't usually have spirits literally knock, but I'll never forget. I was in a session with a client talking to her parents, and all of a sudden just knocking. There's knocking on the windows. There's knocking on a table. The table's jumping. And I'm like, what is going on? And so then I kind of did a quick meditation. I stopped the video, and it was Amy freaking Winehouse standing in my garden. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, sorry, I like to make a dramatic entrance. And I was like, okay, cool. Hi, nice to meet you.
So you had to stop an actual session that you were doing with a client to take this message from Amy Winehouse, like, hey, I'm here. Stop everything.
Yeah. Luckily it wasn't a live session. It was videoed, so I was able to stop, but it was so bizarre.
Well, I can imagine. And that is one thing. Like, let's roll this back for just a moment here, because you do connect with loved ones that have passed on for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I was really unsure of it, but it sort of because I'm a member of several different groups. What would happen would in the free spaces, they would say, hey, can I have a message from my dad or from my mom? And so I would just sort of practice, and I would just give like 2-3 sentences of love and support. And I constantly say, like, great, I'm happy to give messages, but please don't tell me anything that's triggering. Like, sometimes they do want to talk about, cousin Bob that's in jail, and I'm like, that this might not be the correct forum to talk about that, so I try to give clues that will let the person know, like, yeah, I'm really talking to this person because they're talking about this childhood memory. And if it brings healing and it brings peace, and sometimes people just want to hear from their grandmother, or they just want to hear from their brother. And if it brings healing and peace, then I'm happy to do it. I don't charge astronomical fees because I want to keep my services for the average person open and possible. But you never know what the future will bring. I constantly am trying to shift and change my services. Spirit's really pushing me to do some group meditations and get more on YouTube and that kind of thing. So you just never know what the future brings.
Well, yep, that is totally true. And it's good that you're open to being guided by spirit rather than, like, I need this to happen here and there and there. And so, and also that you're affordable, because I know a lot of times people are just like longing for a little bit of closure or a little bit of a positive reinforcement, or not reinforcement, but a positive message. Like, I've been on calls with clients, and it's just like they know that they've gotten a message, and when you repeat or echo that same message that they've been getting from a loved one for a little bit, they're like, yeah, now I know that it was a message this whole time.
Yeah, and but I also have been in a lot of training and with Reiki and with mediumship and sound healing continuously since 2018. So I also want to honor that training and honor those teachers by charging appropriately. But yeah, I feel like it's all a respectful energy exchange, and I want people to feel heard and respected. And just know that the universe loves them, because I think a lot of people don't understand the various laws of the universe, and that, I don't know how to say it. It's just nothing is out there to get you. Your spirit team, the universe, it's all rooting for you to be your highest and best self. And if I can help somebody with that, then I'm thrilled.
Yes. That's really good. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply that you're like charging super low rates, because I know that
No.
like in our industry, like it's, it's got to be fair, and it does have to, kind of honor your work. And
I
think
My guides always want me to throw that in. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw that in. Sorry.
Yeah, no, no. And I love that you did say that. And also that you tipped your hat to your influencers and
Mhm.
your mentors and the people that you've learned from, because I know, there is a part of this that's completely natural, and like you said, you've been doing it since you were a child, but there's also a part that's trained to hear better, or to more accurately interpret messages, or to even shift frequencies in order to get a better understanding, or even access to a different um, you know set of beings or whatever. And like you said, making that waiting room,
Mhm.
that the spirits have to do that, getting that guardian in place, getting some spirits who are kind of serving as bouncers. That's also a part of the learned process as well.
Absolutely. And you have to decide what is okay for you and what's not okay for you.
Hmm.
Because there are times I'll see something really wild and crazy, and I have to remember, like, okay, I need to not say that to a client because I don't want them to be scared, but because it doesn't scare me, but what doesn't scare me might scare someone who isn't me. So,
Right. And so
yeah,
information too about what to share and what not to share, but then you get
yeah.
a little bit more background, because I think that also helps you as the advisor to
Mhm.
understand what the client needs from you as well.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes I want to be very certain that by telling someone information, I'm not accidentally setting something into motion that shouldn't have been set into motion. So I'm always very like, should I say this? Okay. So while sometimes they're thinking, oh, Megan's sitting silently on the video for a minute, I'm having a conversation going, do I say this? Do I not say this? Is this safe? Is this triggering? Okay.
No, but that's good. And then there's also that reception time as well,
Mhm.
where you have to be like, it's almost like a conversation where you're just like piecing together, sometimes fine chitin, the fine points of um, a message.
Mhm.
And like you said, how to communicate it, what needs to be shared.
Yeah.
And you prepared today by choosing some cards from some goddesses, I think we started
Yes.
talking. Okay.
Yes. I just like I wake up in the morning, I do my meditation, I jump in the shower, I get out. And so I'm constantly having the conversation in my head. And if I'm alone, I'll say it out loud. Okay, who's coming in today? And so the angels that are on my team, Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, they are here, but they don't wish to speak. So I said, okay, so I tend to work with angel energy and goddess energy. And I will work with the divine masculine, but I don't work with it as often. So my favorite decks are Goddess Power Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid and Divine Feminine Oracle by Megan Waterston. And so if I don't get the hint right away, I'll start to hear kind of knocking where I keep my cards. So I guess I was a little slow this morning. So I heard a little bit of knocking, so I opened the cupboard and I'm like, okay, I see you. So I pulled the two decks out. And so I just sat in meditation for about 15 minutes, got my crystals out, and three cards came out. So Brigid, the triple goddess, the mother maiden crone of home and hearth. And I've never pulled this card before. Gula, the Babylonian Goddess of Healing. And then, of course, Mary Magdalene. I say, of course, but I don't often work with Mary Magdalene. I usually work with Mother Mary. Mother Mary is one of my main guides. So I was really surprised that Mary Magdalene wanted to come in. So yeah, so I'm ready to share some messages whenever you are. But
Well,
no rush.
I'm fine with that. And that's why I kind of introduced the topic there. I will put the decks that Megan mentioned into the show notes so that if you are curious. So Goddess Guidance deck from Colette Baron-Reid, right?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta
It's
find that.
Goddess Power Oracle, and Divine Feminine Oracle. So we've got Mary Magdalene, Brigid, and Gula. So if you get a paid session with me, I go into a deep meditative trance state, and I will full body trance. But when I am doing something kind of lighthearted and fun like this, what I do is I will have the Ascended Master, I'll have the energy. I've already invited them in, so they are in my room, and I am 99% clairaudient. So I will just repeat what they say. I've been working on this modality as well as a trance channel medium, and I will just go ahead and start. So with Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene has come forth, and she wants to talk about soul family. So she says, at this time, soul family is reaching out. You are born, you have a light path, and there is the family of blood and bone, the family that you are born into, but there are the families of like-minded individuals, the family of ideas, and you can set the intention now in 2022, this entire year, as often as you like. You can set the intention to cross paths with like-minded individuals who will be members of your soul family. They will help you, and you will help them elevate yourselves to your highest and best potential. You have to look for signs, synchronicities from the universe, angel numbers, feathers, coins, songs that mean something. If you have a sudden urge to go to a certain event or to talk to a certain person, follow these signs, follow these urges, follow your gut, for the time of the soul family is coming in this year of 2022, and soul families will become more and more important. In addition to the idea of soul family, there is the idea of the healing within the blood family. You will not always get along with everyone, but what you can do is you can ask your higher self to speak to their higher self, and you can try to heal a brokenness. You can try to heal a communication that did not work correctly. And it could be that perhaps you do not ever speak to this person again, but you can heal that within yourself so that healing, the seeds of healing are planted, and maybe one day you can have a conversation with them. So that is the message from Mary Magdalene, talking about soul family and blood family. And then Brigid wants to come in to talk about creativity. Okay, sorry, I have to take a sip of water for a second.
That's okay.
When I channel, the energy gets really strong and I get kind of dizzy.
Yeah,
okay.
I understand completely.
Okay, so now we have Brigid. And Brigid is the triple goddess. She is seen as a mother, she is seen as a maiden, she is seen as a crone. Now, because these beings are divine feminine energy, that does not mean that men cannot engage with them. It just means that I believe that we are one half masculine, one half feminine. So regardless of who you are, binary, non-binary, all people that are open to spirituality can embrace the energy of these beings. So my team just wanted me to say that. Okay, so Brigid, here we go with a message from Brigid. Have you taken the time to rest lately? You cannot pour from an empty cup. Know that resting is not a failure. Resting can be a way to heal and build a bridge back to who you are. If you have forgotten who you are, rest. If you have forgotten why you are here on this earth, rest. If you are lost, rest. You can say no. You can walk away from things that do not serve you. Rest, refill, Know that you are enough. You are loved by the universe, even if you don't see it, even if you do not feel it. You deserve rest. And once you are well rested, creativity will come back to you, whether it is creating with art or creating with music or just seeing the light on your path. When you are well rested, you are open to the laws and to the love and to the ideas and the creativity of the universe. Remember this at all times. And if you are lost and you need help with creativity and you need help finding your way, call upon the goddess energy, and the right goddess energy will come to you in signs. But know that as Brigid, I am the carer of the flame. I am the carer of the home and the hearth, and I will come to you in all ways for all things. Okay, so that was Brigid. Okay, so this next energy I'm not familiar with. Today was the first day I've ever pulled her. Her name is Gula. I think I'm saying that correctly. Gula, the goddess of healing, and she's from Babylon. Whew. Now, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Sorry, I need another drink of water.
Don't worry. No, that's totally understandable, because as you're working with the channeling, it is exhausting in some ways. So Linda said Brigid's message really resonated with her, and she pulled her from her goddess deck for this moon cycle as well.
Yes, February is the month of Brigid. I am not pagan. I would not call myself a witch, but I have done some past life regressions, and I did have a past life where I was a follower of Brigid. So it's just in the past 5 years, as I've become spiritually more aware of things and remembering things, I have done small rituals for Imbolc, which is midwinter. And the more I remember every year to honor Brigid and honor midwinter, the more she comes in and sort of helps me. And so when I see little kind of winks from the universe, I'm like, thanks, Brigid, but especially in the month of February. February is her month for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your channeling, because I think you were going to start working. So I'm sorry that I interrupted.
Oh no, it's okay. I turn into a totally like speed talking kind of spastic person when I'm channeling, which is not my normal attitude, but it's the energy. And I normally channel 1 or 2 beings, but for whatever reason today they wanted me to do 3. But goddesses tend to present to me in 3s. There's something magical about that number. So all right. So let's see what Gula can do. So it's going to take me a second because I've never been in this energy.
Okay.
All right. So she's presenting me a lot of symbols. So I'm trying to figure out what all of this is. Okay. So she's showing me the wheel of the year. So this is definitely more of a pagan vibe, which is interesting. Sorry, I don't know if I'm using the proper word, but that's just the word that comes to my mind. Okay. So I'm just sort of getting used to her energy. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So she's talking about the rise of the old. She says the old is new again. And so the more people are walking away from the religious systems. I mean, we know this. You don't need a medium to know this, but the organized religion is getting less and the spiritual path is becoming more. So she's showing me earth-based religions. She's showing me the wheel of the year. She's showing me the Celts. She's showing me just all of the old ways, the ways of the earth, that people are becoming more interested in it again. So whether you call that esoteric, whether you call that Wiccan, whether you call that pagan, she's saying that the rise of that is coming up, and the divine feminine and the divine masculine are meeting, and people are starting to honor that balance within themselves. There's the toxic masculinity is we're overcoming that, but also the toxic femininity, the false positivity. So we're talking about balancing the two halves of yourself, the masculine and the feminine. Okay, so all right, so now I'm a little bit more in her energy. Okay, so what does Gula want to say specifically? So Gula says that there is a time for healing. And if you have been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, the spirit is going to stop you this year. Your spirit team is going to stop you from pushing yourself to the point that you have nothing left to give, and it's going to be enough. So try to listen to your body, try to listen to your mind, try to listen to your spirit, and go inward, whether that's meditation, whether that's yoga, whether that's finding a mentor, whether it's learning a new skill that is esoteric. I just keep hearing that word, esoteric. That is that which is not of this realm. That is of spirit. Embrace that. Look into that. Decide what is for you, what is not for you, and heal in yourself that which needs to be healed. And it's okay to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. That is the healing journey. People have this idea that you are going to keep going and going and going, and you never slide back. And there is no shame in having to stop the spiritual journey for a moment. And again, we hear the word rest. They're making me write it down. And know that you have to integrate and you have to rest, and then you push forward and learn, and then you integrate and rest, and then you push forward and learn. And we all have a different path, and we will pass each other on the path, and we will cheer each other on the path, and we will leave and we will gain some friends and family, and others we will say goodbye to with love, and that is okay. That is the spiritual journey. That is the message of this year, 2022.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Whew.
But I like that too, because when you think about the wheel, going back to the wheel and thinking about, like the nonlinear aspects of healing, and on a wheel, you really don't notice that it's going forwards or, a little forward, a little backwards, a little forward, a little backwards doesn't really matter when it's a circle. As opposed to when it's a straight line, you don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, does that make any sense? Because that's what I was like, that's the information that I was getting as you were talking about that. And, an energy or an entity from Babylon is going to be pre-Christian era to begin with. And so really, like you said, a different kind of energy to kind of step into. And it's nice too that there is a difference though between modern energies and really old archetypal energies from different civilizations and cultures.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have no problem with anyone that is, if you are deeply loving the Catholic Church, great. If you are a devout Christian, great. I believe that there's room for everyone to be in a space of love and light. I've had a lot of ascended masters come in through sessions that are Buddhists and Indian Devis. And I know nothing of this energy, but hey, I just channel what I get, and I tell my clients, and they're like, okay, great, and it makes total sense to them. But yeah.
Well, that's fun too. Like you get this message and you're like, are you sure about that? And you say it and the client's like, I totally understand what you're talking about. You're like, okay, good. Because that was a little interesting. But also you mentioned too, that sometimes they communicate in symbols.
Yeah, if I'm not really sure of an energy, what I do is they will come in with Archangel Michael or Archangel Gabriel, which Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel are two beings that I've seen since the age of 3. I remember being 3, being in my bed, and they were standing by my door. And and they didn't speak, but I just heard them say, I am Archangel Michael, I am Archangel Gabriel, I am with you always. So those two angels bring in beings, and if I see them with them, then I know it's safe. And it's not, I don't want to set up a paradigm of safe and unsafe, but I have to be sure if I'm going to work with an energy. And so that for me is a very good symbol.
I like that you mentioned that, because that's one of the things I think that a lot of people, especially when they're starting on the path, or even when they're getting deeper into the path of channeling or even working with energy healing, they can become scared that they're going to inadvertently somehow start inviting energies in that they don't really want in their lives. And so for you, it's a question of, are they with Archangel Michael or Archangel Gabriel?
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But I also say things before a session like, let me be a channel of light and love, and may all darkness now be banished at this time and space, and in all planes of existence. This is only a space of light and love. So, but you have to find a mantra that works for you. And that I find that one works for me very well.
Well, yeah, that's a good thing to point out, like figuring out what works for you and then working within that, because there are different energy sources. And I'm saying this with a great pause and hesitation, because, there are a lot of people out there that say we should work with whatever energy is available. And I think there's a lot of people too that are just like, well, I know that there's this and that and the other thing available, but I don't want to channel that kind of energy. And I don't necessarily want that energy to feed and fuel my work or the messages that I give to other people.
Oh yeah, I know lots of really talented, amazing people that work more with galactic energy, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm so fascinated with that. And sometimes I will get what, for lack of a better word, is called galactic energy. But I recognize, because I've seen it since a child, I recognize the angelic energy. I recognize the goddess energy, and I'm taking a course via Kyle Gray. So he works with the Ascended Masters. So there's men and women. And so I'm learning to recognize that with his course. But it's just sort of, everyone's path is different, and not everyone's going to be a professional medium, and that's absolutely okay. But do I encourage people to connect with their guardian angel and with their own spirit team? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important for people to know too that their guardian angels and their spirit teams and their ancestors are there for them all the time.
Yeah. And the more I do, the more like I just, it seems silly, but the more I put out there, like, hey, if you can help me out, that would be great. And then I went to Germany last weekend, and I got something for free that I was like, oh, this is awesome, and when I was in a non-spiritual mindset, and I was in more of like a negative mindset, I would never get stuff for free or see the blessings and things or see how abundant my life is. I would just think negative, negative, negative. But the more that you are open to positivity, and the more that you're open, and the more things will happen. But that doesn't mean that negativity doesn't exist. I know people know that negativity and awful things are out there in the world, and they don't need me to tell them that. I want them to come to me for help.
Well, and that's not what they're coming to you for. Like, if they wanted that, they would just open like, the news or whatever right now. They wouldn't be coming to you for that kind of message.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you're not, but I think it's a different thing entirely, though. It's working on healing. It's working on the law of attraction in some ways. Now, was it you? And I can't remember, and I'm sorry if this wasn't you, but isn't David Bowie said to be from a different star system?
Yes, Andromeda. So the I don't really understand it exactly, but the way that it's been explained to me is that we have all had different lives, and our higher self contains this knowledge of all of our different lives. So the version of him that I see when I'm dealing with clients, so it tends to be the clients that I have that are dealing in the, for lack of a better word, the non-binary. They're androgynous. He's sort of this version of him that I jokingly call Ziggy Stardust comes in, and it's just this sort of wonderful galactic being, and he looks like his stage version of Ziggy Stardust. And yeah, and then other times he comes in and he looks like a middle-aged granddad, and he's just coming in to help people that are odd. When he visits me, and he doesn't visit me every day, but when he does visit, he'll say, I'll say, "What are you doing here?" And he'll say, "Oh, you're going to have a client soon that feels like a freak, for lack of a better word, that feels that they don't fit in." And so when I see him come in, he's coming in to give me advice to tell this client. And I, depending on whether or not they're open, I won't say David Bowie says. I'll say, okay, your spirit team says, and then I'll just give advice for how to flow in the world when you don't feel like you're flowing so great. I hope I explained that okay.
That's really nice. I like that because it ties into his persona and also the real person as well. So there was that, kind of split, but all encompassing being that he was, like the entertainer and the person.
Yeah. And Andromedan starseeds, no, I'm not an expert, but from what I understand is that these are the people that they don't really, they want art, they want culture, they want love, they want beauty, and the heaviness of this earth is too much for them. And I just do my best to help them. A lot of times I'll do a visualization for them or a meditation to kind of go back to that calm place, go back to that peaceful place. So I do individualized sessions where people will just tell me, what are they looking for? What problem are they trying to solve? And I will try to come up with a visualization or meditation or Reiki or combination of all three, sound healing, that will help them.
Well, that's good. So every session is not the same, and you don't bring the same tools into every session. So you just have your toolkit available, and you say, I'm going to pick whatever is going to work best for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I sometimes they'll just sign up for Reiki and not specifically crystal Reiki, which I do with the grid and crystals, but suddenly I'll find that I'll make a small table of crystals, and I'm like, oh, they didn't want crystal Reiki, and my guides are like, it's fine, just wave the crystal around and do what we tell you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, all right. Yeah.
Well, I like that too, because I understand that completely, because my little proxy that I use in my Reiki sessions gets the crystal treatment, gets the oils, gets, the hugs and the nurturing and support that comes up when I'm doing a session. So having all of those tools available in your toolkit makes for a very customized and intuitively guided session that really probably is a lot better than going in with a 1, 2, 3 methodology.
Yeah, and I do live sessions, but because they take more energy, I charge a bit more. But I really enjoy just emailing back and forth with the client, figuring out what would help them, and then I'll say, okay, let's try this, and then I send the video. They listen to it a few times, and they're usually very happy. So, and it makes me happy. So.
Well, that's what's important, right?
Yeah.
As long as they're important, or as long as they're happy with it and the session moves them forward and helps them to heal in a way, and it feels good to you, then yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long journey for me to put my face on a video. Like I do some YouTube videos that are older, but I just have never felt comfortable putting my face on things. So I'll usually just put the card. And I'm definitely an introvert by nature. I'm not a super extroverted person. So it's almost really terrifying to put myself out there and to say, yeah, I'm a spiritual worker. I'm just out here just trying to help when and where I can.
Well, and it's a calling.
Yeah.
It is a mission, and it's something, sometimes you try, um, it just keeps coming back. It'll keep repeating itself and saying, come on, get out there. You got some work to do here.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So
Yeah. And also, I mean, we're lucky too that we do have tools that we can use in place of, being the face of our business. We can actually have the spirits and the archetypes, because we have so many cards and crystals and props that we can use to represent the energies that we're working with.
yeah, yeah. And if anything is ever negative or just not of an energy that I'm aligning with, I'm just like, nope, 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 nope. So like if you have like a really cranky granddad that wants to come through in a session, I'm going to be like, okay, I need to talk to granddad's higher self, because granddad's ego is getting on my nerves. So again, it's all about boundaries.
Well, I like that, though. I think that's really, really important, because in the spirit world, and people who are just opening up to their mediumship or just opening up to their ability to channel messages are going to be faced with different energies and different spirits who might be grumpy or be negative or be self-serving
Yeah,
or lead with ego. And so for you to say, I tell them no, I shut them down. This is my space. This is my energy. And so you too, as an upcoming, not you, Megan, but anybody who's listening, if they're receiving messages, they can say no to any message. They can say, I'm not sharing that. They can say, you go back and you get me your higher self, and then we'll continue this conversation, because we're not going to have a negatively based conversation. It's important.
Absolutely. You always, I can't stress this enough. You always have the power to say, no, not today. And out you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also grounding in positive energy, grounding in a more high vibe state, and making that the deciding factor of whether or not you're going to work with an energy is important as well.
Yeah, grounding and meditation is so important, because I do this often enough that sometimes I just feel like a balloon that's about to float away energetically. So it's so important to ground. And when I say meditate, it's not that you have to sit and say for 55 minutes. And it's great if you can do that, but it can just be listening to a couple of songs that really relax you for 2 to 3 minutes. There's all kinds of meditation in the world.
Good to know. That's a good tip as well. If you were to have a message from you specifically for people who are interested in working on or opening their mediumship skills, or whatever message you would have for our audience, what do you have to say from you, Megan, not from a spirit guide?
I would say trust your gut. You have to know and trust your own intuition, and you innately know what is good for you. If you are unsure of something, don't do it. You don't have to. And if it feels good to you completely and totally, go forward and trust that the universe will put the right people and the right tools in your place. And if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, it's okay to walk away. It's okay to walk away with love from any situation or any person that you feel is harming you or that you don't trust.
Nice. I love that. And you have a meditation session coming up, is that right? You have a meditation event coming up?
It is a spirit circle. So what it is it's a Zoom link, and you sign up. I want to say it's 35 euros, something like that. And it's an hour and a half of my time. We're on the Zoom. And what I do is I'll go around and I'll say, okay, who has a photo? They'll show me the photo. And so I will write down. So it's like, yeah, right, cousin Bob, grandpa. And then so if I've got, say, 6 people, I'll do 10 minutes for each person. And then at the end, I answer questions. And if I have extra time, I'll say, do you have any questions for this particular loved one or your guardian angel? And then I will record a meditation where we go in and you get a deeper message from either your guardian angel or the loved one. And so I have it this Saturday, and it will be Central European time. Because I'm in the Amsterdam time zone, would be 8:30, and I believe East Coast, sorry, my math, my East Coast would be 2:30 p.m. and on and on. And it's once a month.
Okay, so that's once a month.
Yeah, and you go to my website to sign up.
Okay, and it's 35 euros, which is about $40 US. I just did the conversion right now. It's 39.66 or something like that, and it can fluctuate a little bit. Mm-hmm. And you said 8:30 a.m. your time? No,
8:30 p.m. Amsterdam time this Saturday evening. But depending on your time zone, I believe East Coast is 2:30 and 1:30 and wherever else you are in the world. But it's all on my website, so it will have, and I do it monthly. And you can also sign up for all kinds of cool sessions if you want on my site. And I also have a Facebook group where I go live once a month for card pulls and insights. Called Soul Space with Meg.
Nice. And your Facebook page, your Facebook group is free to join, or is it a paid group?
Yeah, no, it's free.
Okay, and that's Soul Space with Meg. Correct.
Yeah, it's. I found a lot of people aren't on Instagram, so so I just thought, and then once a month I go in there and just whoever's there gets a card and or an insight. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, because a lot of people are looking for that, kind of community and support where, you're just getting messages and you have that ability to be freely you and kind of mingle with other people who are on their spiritual journey as well.
Yeah, and sometimes I do visualizations, or I'll do a peace grid, Reiki grid, and I'll take a photo and I'll upload it there. It just kind of, whatever spirit moves me to do.
Nice. So, so soulspacewithmeg.com. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Soul Space with Meg on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes. And YouTube, but I need to add some more things to the YouTube.
Yeah, but with the older videos on YouTube and any kind of posts that anybody would run across on your site or social media, they will see the message that they're supposed to get at the time they're supposed to get it.
Yeah, and I try to blog a few times a month as well, and those are the free messages that my spirit team, or like we said, the famous people that pop in sometimes, that's the free messages that I do just to the collective.
Nice. Yeah. And there is always that collective overarching energy that's going on that we can all tap into, but having somebody who can almost verify what we're thinking, and say, oh, I'm getting that message too.
Yeah, I love when my messages resonate with people. That never gets old.
Yeah. I get that feeling too.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on time now. It was so fabulous to talk to you finally and hear more about your background and the amazing energies and entities that you work with. So, everybody, this is Megan Heldens, and you can find her at Meg or Soul Space with Meg.
Yeah.
And she's on all of the different social media right now. You can watch her YouTube videos, connect with her in her free group, Soul Space with Meg, on Facebook. Or if you would like to book a session with her and get some of this, either a recorded session or a live session, healing messages, www.soulspacewithmeg.com.
Yeah.
So, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining. It was a pleasure to be here. Megan, thank you for your time and your energy. And thank you, Brigid. And thank you to your soul, your spirit team and your angel team and your spirit guides for sharing these messages with us.
Thank you for having me. It's been great to be in everyone's energy. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, everybody, this is Sue Ellis-Saller from Spiritual Business Spotlight, and we will talk to you soon. Of course, I will list all of Megan's information in the show notes and also the card decks that she used. And if you have any questions, feel free to DM me or Megan if you have any questions for Megan. And thank you so much for being here. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Takes just a moment to end.